All right, guys, happy Monday. It's the healthiest day of the week, and it's our weekly health huddle. We do this every single week for 15, 20 minutes. We have a topic of health. We share victories. There's tons of people on the line, and we're all just moving forward in different facets of our health and different levels. And it doesn't matter where you at or where you're at or where you are on your journey. We're all moving forward together because, this week, this helps us get caught up on the week, what we're focusing on next. And your health is really an iteration of how much you focus on your health week to week and just continuing to move forward. So right now, we have a bunch of cool things going on. This is just a health huddle like any other week, but we're also in a series basically focusing on shifting our health to the next level during the season. So we're covering a few different topics in order. This week, we're going to cover healthy fueling and got some great speakers lined up for it to share some great insight. But we're just focusing on challenging ourselves to the next level over these next 6 weeks. So if this is the first you're hearing about it, please join in. We'd love for you to join us. We're only 1 week in as of today. You can still join us. We're doing this in our Facebook groups, but we're also doing this in an online challenge as well. So wherever format you're utilizing right now, we welcome you and say congratulations for taking your health to the next level. So with that being said, let me jump into this week's topic. Last week, we covered a little bit of information on how to be a goal setter and how that's so important. So many people just skip over this. And honestly, if you don't know where you're going and what you want to accomplish, any road will take you there. So we really hit on how to do that and why it's so important and how to really support yourself with some of those ideas. And before I get any further, my name is Brad Miller. And so for those that don't know me, I'm very excited for you guys to be on this call, and I get to be one of the hosts on it. So if you haven't seen me before, that's who I am. And it's my honor to be able to host tonight. This week, we're going to be going into a little bit of healthy fueling and how that works for our bodies, what it does, and some tips to just make sure it happens long-term, because we're not just doing a diet here. We're learning habits that fuel a healthy lifestyle. So before I jump into that, I'd love to open up the call real quick, and whoever wants to jump in, we only have a few seconds for this. But anyone that had any cool victories this week that they really just want to share with the group, because we learned so much from each and every one of us, and every victory is great, whether it was scale related, size related, or just something that you really learned. And on the topic of healthy fueling or pushing ourselves to the next level or goal setting, love to see if anyone has anything they want to share that was really big from their last week. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you'd like to do that. Someone's trying to unmute. I can hear it. Are you there? I think they're messaging me right now. Their audio is not working.
Hey, Brad, I'm here.
There we go. What's up?
I just want to say that my accomplishments for this week was being able to stick to the 1 week of that 42-day challenge. I mean, staying and being consistent and just doing that. I mean, that's, for me, I haven't really stuck to something on a day-to-day basis, besides, do my 5-1 and doing my transitioning now. But that's a huge accomplishment for me. That's what I wanted to share.
1 week of stepping up your game in our challenge that we're doing here. So that's awesome. And real quick, so before you meet yourself, again, you lost your weight already. You've hit your goal weight. You're continuing to live healthy. What does it feel like? Because that was what our last week's topic was about, setting goals. How did it feel to set some goals and set a timeline for it and work on, knocking out some of those next level goals? How was that for you past your weight loss goal?
After the weight loss, you just need to set new goals. And that's one, maintaining what you've accomplished already and being able to, step up to the next challenge. And yeah, goal setting is real important. If we don't have goals, like you said, Brad, we're not going to have something attainable to grab onto.
I love it. And as a goal in itself, it feels good to set goals and push yourself forward. So if anyone learned anything from last week, so important to set new goals, challenge yourselves for a season. And it feels darn good when you get into the routine. So congrats, COC. That is an awesome one. We normally open it up for more, but today we're going to move in because we have a lot to cover. And so just basically in short, we're focusing on shifting this next season. So what is it in our life that we want to elevate and not really say, well, I don't know if I can do that, or oh, I'm doing pretty good, I'm just going to keep on puttering around what I'm doing. What are we going to do to elevate our health to the next level? And we're going to provide a lot of education on a bunch of different topics. And hopefully you guys are excited and enjoying pushing yourself. But basically, I love this quote here because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So in order to achieve new levels, in order to accomplish things you want to accomplish, you're going to need to do things that you've never done before. So like Ciosi, setting a 42-day challenge to stick with his workout regimen and elevating his nutrition routine, because he's already lost his weight, but he's pushing himself further. You can see how good it makes him feel. And I'm guessing, he doesn't have to say it, but I'm guessing it's starting to become habit, what you're starting to put into play. So well done, my friend. And just some other thoughts as we kind of go into this and focus on the season. If you set yourself up for success, anything is possible. And if you know where you want to go, it just makes it all that easier. So the antithesis would be if you don't know where you want to go, any road will take you there. So this week we're going to cover healthy fueling. So I'm going to bring on my partner, Casey Mitzel. He's going to give some feedback. So I'm not going to spend all the time explaining all of Casey's accolades, but he's extremely knowledgeable in the fitness realm, and he helps people with nutrition, exercise for a living. And he came across our program, uses it in his club and his fitness centers, and basically just going to give us some insight, because we're going to cover healthy fueling today, how it works in our bodies, why it is that we're doing so important. We're going to cover a little bit about how 5-in-1 works in that fat burning stage that most of you guys are in if you guys are on the 5-in-1 plan, but just really how healthy fueling plays a role and what it does for ourselves and kind of how just some things you might not have known. So Casey, are you there?
I'm here, Brad.
Go for it. Turn it over to you.
All right, guys. Well, you know what I always say is nutrition is actually 100% of our success, and it really is based on all the things that we should take a look at doing pre-working out, pre- and post-exercise especially, but setting yourself up for the whole entire day and the whole entire week of how you prepare and what kind of atmosphere that puts you in, whether or not you can succeed your goals. There's some things that happen when you introduce sugar into your diet. You have a couple of hormones called ghrelin and leptin, which actually are broken in a lot of Americans. And what those do is they tell you that you've had enough food, and they tell you that you're full. And once you're on the 5-in-1 and you start to get these things under control, then basically that leptin feedback loop is kind of stopped, which means that when you prepare your meals like the lean and green and you eat and you take your time to enjoy that, you actually feel satiated, you feel full. So that is one of the feedback loops that we're trying to correct when we follow the program. So basically what 5-in-1 does, if you haven't noticed already, is it puts you in a little bit of a calorie deficit. For some of you, it puts you in a lot of a calorie deficit. But the whole thing is that you need food for nutrients. And when you have the portion-controlled meal replacements, you're basically supplying yourself with the nutrients that you need in those small meals throughout the day. So when your body needs them, it's there. And that's how you can kind of trick your body into saying, hey, everything's totally cool. I can tap into all this extra body fat and just burn it away for energy because my calories are low enough, but my nutrients are high enough, and my blood sugars are nice and stable. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you a lot of added benefits. It's going to help you reduce appetite. It's going to give you steady energy throughout the day. Clear mind is one of the things that you can probably notice when you're in fat burning. And quite honestly, it feels really good. So if you feel like you haven't been there yet, I would just encourage you to kind of take a look at that quick start guide again. Just make sure that you're following things as closely as you possibly can, because it is a noticeable experience. I think everybody that's in fat burning, wave your hand if you're in it now. It feels pretty darn good. You feel like you can pretty much take on the world. So that is that feeling that we're looking for.
Yeah. So, and Casey, I want to jump in on that because, and that's why I wanted you to cover this, because one, there's so much that happens with the way that we eat. And some of the people here aren't on our 5-in-1 plan. They're into the next phase, the 3-in-3. And some people are on their own, they might be, we're doing a challenge right now. Some people might be on a different plan, and we totally want to welcome you here. But, I'm glad you hit on this stuff because one, just getting the sugar out of the system. That is a big one that you'll notice the change in your body. But also with our plan, it's not just eating lower calorie. It's the benefit of giving your body exactly what it needs every 2 to 3 hours, which keeps your blood sugars at a stable rate or level that when you're at that level and you're taking in calories in throughout the day the way you were meant to, that your body is going to go for one fuel source since you're getting enough protein with the way you're eating. And what, of course, is that fuel source?
It's going to be fat.
Hello.
Yeah. So I just thought you could hit on that for a little bit right there, because a lot of people I've been actually talking with a few people, and they were like, oh, I didn't realize that I was actually getting into a state of the body. I thought I was just doing low calorie.
Yeah. One of the analogies that I like to use, and some of the people might have heard it before, but if you can imagine a big Shell tanker truck of gas that has this big tank on the back, and it's possible that if that tractor goes far enough distance away from a fueling source, that they could run out of gas. But that's kind of ironic to think that there's this huge tanker of gas in the back that it hasn't tapped into. So when you think about that, that's the little tank in the tractor is kind of our carbohydrate fueling. That's kind of the ups and downs and the insulin and the blood sugars. And then that big tank on the back is basically our body fat. And if you could actually siphon a hose into that big tank, you could probably get across America back and forth who knows how many times, right? And that's what we're doing is we're tapping into that stored body fat, which is meant to be used for energy in times of need. And we really have to create that time of need because we're pretty much in a time of plenty when we can grab anything out of the refrigerator or go to a fast food place and we can have food in a matter of a couple of seconds without even thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you hit on that. So basically, kind of as a review this is where we were before program, and we're storing fat. When you're eating the 5 and 6 meals a day, the 6 meals a day, and you're focused on our 5 in 1 plan, you're going to get into that fat burning stage, and that's an actual state your body achieves, and you're getting more than enough adequate protein and all your nutrition and that you need. And then again, fueling for goals. Many of you guys are on a phase of plan after, because you don't just eat to lose weight, you eat to live healthy long term. So just the one thing to kind of take away from this is, whether you're in 5 and 1 or you've moved on to your next phase, we're still continuing to eat every 2 to 3 hours, 6 times a day, because that keeps your metabolism going. That's the way your body wants to break things down. And just scientifically, they've proven that if you eat the same amount of calories broken up over 6 times a day, as opposed to eating 3 times a day, your body's going to do better. I mean, that's, obviously taken aside if it's nutritionally balanced, but your body's going to do better with that. So not only are you doing something if you're in the 5 and 1 phase, this is what it's doing within your body, but you're setting yourself up habits on how you should eat long term. So, and again, you're probably learning about those things like Casey was talking about how your body responds to sugar. And, Casey, we're a little short on time here, but, this is just a cool diagram of what happens probably when we're not on our nutrition game and what's going on inside of our body. Could you skip over this real quick on what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, basically, imagine the average American gets up in the morning and they grab a bagel and they grab some orange juice for breakfast. Okay, high carbohydrates, very little protein, and little to no fat. And what happens is they get that big spike in insulin, they get that big spike in blood sugar, and then insulin has to take over and put it into the cells. It's going to try to put it into your muscle cells when possible, and then it's going to put it in your storage cells, mainly your liver. But once that's full, then basically it has to go to spillover, which is going to be body fat. So what happens is you have that plummet in your blood sugars, and then all of a sudden you're craving again. So, these are those hormones. So eating every 2 to 3 hours basically controls that up and down so that you stay in control. And staying in control is a huge part of how you're going to design your day and know that you're in control of it. So now again, you decide, okay, I'm starving again. So you're that tanker, that tractor that ran out of gas. So now you got to stop at the next gas station. You got to fill up again, and you have a bagel again, or you have a hamburger and a soft drink. And again, insulin levels are going to spike. It's going to drop down to those blood sugars, and then all of a sudden you're going to be hungry again. And this can go on, and with little control, because those hormones are really controlling your appetite, telling you that you just had 3,000 calories in a hamburger, which might be your total caloric intake for the day that you should be eating, but your brain is telling you you're still starving. And a lot of that has to do with the nutrients. If you look at those sample foods up there, not a whole lot of nutrient delivery there. You're looking at some pretty empty calories. So your body's still craving those nutrients that it hasn't received yet. It's getting plenty of calories, but that's not going to get us that's not going to get us anywhere, except for maybe some stored body fat.
I love it. And there's some people that have been on their journey here for a long time. Some of you guys are brand new. And I remember what I first took away from this, basically. And if there's anything that we can kind of hit on as we cover this week before we move to some tangible tips to help you with your healthy fueling and how to go about it and just continue to have support and success, is that when you eat every 2 to 3 hours and you focus on eating the right thing, your body won't fight you with cravings. Your body you won't crave because your body's not responding to a lack of levels. When I wake up in the morning, I keep it healthy and low glycemic, whether a healthy breakfast or just a healthy meal replacement. I'm giving my body what it needs, and it wants that, and it feels good. I don't have cravings or an insulin spike or crash. So then when I get to my next 3 hour mark, I feel good, and I fuel because I want to fuel, not because my body's craving. Those craving times up here, this is when we make bad decisions, and that's eating more than 3 hours and having sugary stuff, or then or having a lack of it. This right here is what happens when we fuel on one of our plans, or just fuel every 2 to 3 hours in general and keep it right where we want to be. So Casey, I love it. And I love the idea of the gas tanker. It's such a good idea. So we want to fuel for goals and understanding what that fueling does. So if you take anything away this week, eat every 2 to 3 hours. If you're on our 5 and 1 plan, that's easy. If you're learning about this for long term is just you're always going to focus on eating every 2 to 3 hours, drinking tons of water. And that's
and real quick, Brad, real quick on that. Make sure it's a combination of protein, fats, and carbohydrates. So it's not just eating every 2 hours, but it's eating the combinations of macronutrients that's going to support a longer burn in the digestive system.
Exactly, which is great. What's great about that, for if you're on one of our plans, we don't have to get that technical on it today, is that you're already taking care of that. You don't have to do that equation on your own because you just have to follow one of the plans. So you're doing this without even thinking about it. So Casey, thanks for the information and just knowing, knowledge is power. I remember when I first started learning this for the first time, I was like, wow, all that's going inside my body with what I put inside of it. So it just made me more mindful of what it is I'm doing here. So this is actually where I'm going to turn it over to a couple people for tips on how to have success with this. So our first person that's going to share tonight is Ashley Mason, going to give us some tips on keeping it fresh and just a few tips in that realm. So Ashley, are you there?
I am here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Perfect. So I love this topic. I mean, this is essentially why we come to this program is I know for me personally, I had a huge trouble with healthy fueling. I wasn't eating, as many calories maybe as I should, but I was eating the wrong times of day. I was eating the wrong things. So this is huge for me. My biggest tip when it comes to healthy fueling is keep it fresh. I mean, I got stuck in this rut. I know some other people have. It doesn't have to be chicken and broccoli every night. You don't have to have the same shake every morning for breakfast. You don't have to have the same hearty choice for lunch every day. Mix it up. We have 70 meal options to choose from. Pick anything. There are days, I'm not going to lie, I have 5 brownies in a day, and that's totally fine. And who does not want to be on a health program where you can eat 5 brownies in a day? I love it. So we have over 70 meal options to choose from. As most of us know, you can pick anything you want 5 times a day. So mix it up, have fun, have pancakes for dinner. Don't kind of get stuck in that rut. One of the other big suggestions I have is shakes. Make a shake out of anything. One of my favorite shakes in the world is actually the brownie mix. Obviously, I like brownies, but it's the brownie mix mixed with what we call the PB2 powder. So it's literally a Reese's peanut butter shake, and I just use a condiment in my shake. And that is, for me, one of the biggest things is use your condiments wisely. And when I first started, I thought condiments had to be salad dressing. Condiments had to be milk. Condiments had to be cheese. There's days that I go without salad dressing because I want certain things. So I really plan my day out to make it successful and to make it fun. Another great tip is my coach personally is the waffle lady. She makes waffles out of everything. Has a waffle press, the brownies, pancakes, anything. Makes waffles out of it. Makes cauliflower waffles and make sandwiches out of those. I mean, make it fun. When it comes to your lean and green, again, don't make the same thing every night and get stuck in that rut to where you're not going to want to continue and you get bored. There's so many sites on Pinterest. There's people that actually have Facebook pages based just on Take Shape for Life lean and green meals. Find some of those out. Figure out what's going to work for you and go to your Facebook support groups. There's pages in there and albums where people have gone and posted their favorite recipes and they've tried this and they've tried that and, try something new. I know personally last night I made for the first time the cauliflower breadsticks. They were phenomenal. My boyfriend, not on program, not into health food, ate them and he's like, these are really good. I didn't think you could eat bread. It's like, they're not. Gotta love that. And so my challenge to everyone on this call tonight is find your favorite lean and green recipe, and I don't want to see any chicken and broccoli on there, and post it in your Facebook support group. So I want to see each and every one of you go find your recipe and share it with your group, and everyone mix it up this week. Brad, I know that you're really excited, but you are muted.
How about now?
There you go.
Huh, weird. I wasn't muted. But you know what? Technical difficulties on Monday. I think we'll make it through. But I love your tips, and that seriously is such a big one. Keep it fresh. There's tons of ideas. If you go to your Facebook support page, if you're not in one, make sure you connect with your health coach. There are tons of ideas to keep it fresh. That's one of the first things I learned is that, man, being healthy, it's so simple and it tastes good. So keep it fresh, and have a lot of fun with it. I love your challenge for the recipe. So the other side of it is prepping it and being set up for success. So Lori is going to come in and share some quick tips on how to set yourself up for success when you're on plan, or whatever plan you're on. So Lori, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. Thanks for asking me to speak, and great job tonight, everyone. This is some really, really good stuff tonight. So obviously I'm in my car and I'm on the go right now, so this is a perfect time to talk about being prepared. And so today on our Facebook support group, I posted and asking some people what their favorite tips were in helping. So a couple things is plan for the unplanned moments. That is so good. That was from Christina, one of our coaches. And it is so true, because you know what, you guys, it never ends that we're stuck in traffic, we're on the go. I'm on the go right now, took my daughter to voice lessons. So I've mentioned this before, but this handy cooler comes in handy. And every morning I still fill up 4 water bottles ready to go. I lost my weight 3 years ago, and this is still really important to me. So that's one tip I love to just recommend. It's all pre-measured and ready. Another thing that one of our coaches mentioned was she pre-packages. I don't know if you guys can see this. She gets a little Ziploc bag, and she puts in her 5 meal replacements for the day. There's even a little flavor infuser. So every day she just takes it out, and that's what she gets to eat for the day. And I love this idea because you're not really just eating for a craving, right? You're eating for, this is planned, this is fuel for your body. Sometimes we can eat all of our favorites in one day, and then we run out, and then we get bored while we're waiting for our next order. So I thought that was a really wonderful idea to prepare and do that. Plan a shopping day for yourself and get yourself organized to take on your week. And I always we still get our staples, 3 years later. Some of the things we go to Costco, and we will fill up our freezer with chicken. We will fill up our freezer with ground turkey, some fish, some salmon. Love doing that. They've got the prepackaged fillets that are ready to go. You just throw them on your grill or put them in the oven. We also go, and I put this on a little Ziploc, we get our little bell peppers, cucumbers, and cherry tomatoes. So these are easy to go. So if, let's say you're running late from work and you're coming home and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm starving, what do I eat? So you've got your little healthy vegetables. They're ready to go. Just you can munch on them. We also keep frozen turkey meatballs in the freezer that we get from Costco. Fantastic. They're ready to go. I think each check with nutrition support on how many you can have. It depends on the brand. The ones we get from Costco, I think, are 5 turkey meatballs. We always keep marinara sauce on hand. Put a little marinara on top of there. Pop it in the microwave, have your fresh vegetables on the side, perfect lean and green, ready to go. Another one we like to keep on hand are eggs. So you could put together an egg white omelet with some tomatoes, some basil, some cheese, low-fat cheese, an amazing omelet. That's one of our favorites when we're in a bind and don't have time to cook. So really being prepared, having those staples on hand, so that way if you're in a pinch, you can just go home and whip something together in under 5 minutes, and it really works great. Let's see what else I'm forgetting here. Oh, and then for your lean and greens, I've mentioned this before, but the thermos is fantastic. If you just wake up about 5 minutes early every single day, you can prepare your hearty choices ahead of time, put them in the microwave, go brush your teeth, come back, it's ready to go, put it in your thermos, and if you're busy at work and you don't have time to go to the lunchroom, you just sit at your desk, take the lid off, eat it, and you're ready. There's your fueling. So really just be prepared, you guys. The more you put into this program, the more you're going to get out of this program. Have fun with it. And one more thing I wanted to say that we love to do. I'm sorry, I could keep going on and on this topic because it's so fun. But we like to just get spaghetti squash, and so I will make that up ahead of time. And usually, you can eat off of that for a couple of days. Just cook it up ahead, come home, and even if you prepared it yesterday, put it in a little Ziploc or a little container, and take it out, put some turkey meatballs and marinara, and there's your spaghetti and meatballs. So anyway, those are some fun tips. Hope you guys will enjoy that and find it useful.
Lori, great tips, and the list goes on. So we'll probably take these into our support Facebook group and ask people what some of their favorite setting themselves up for success tips are. So we're running a little bit late today, so guys, I want to apologize, but all the tips are really good. Susan LaBelle's just going to just give us a couple, last thoughts on, now that we're learning about healthy fueling and kind of how it all works out, and just how we're learning from each other and how to set up for success. Just some last tips as we go into this next week and just really continue our education on how well we're fueling ourselves and how well we're set up to do it. So Susan, I'm going to turn it over to you to finish up the call.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. I too am on the go. I don't know if any of you are busy, but maybe you can relate. I'm at a soccer field on my way to Cub Scouts. So I too, have really just, I've been on this journey for 6 years, and don't need to go into all the details of it, but it's really been about just learning the foundational habits. And I haven't really treated it like some program wanting to go back to old habits. I've really just treated it like a lifestyle and wanted to learn from just that core foundational level. And I think that I too had great results on the 5 and 1 6 years ago. But what the question I get the most now is not how did you lose the weight, but it's how have I learned to keep it off? Like what's really shifted in my own health that I haven't gone backwards. And I would say one of these foundational habits is learning just to fuel my body in a balanced way every 2 to 3 hours. And we have chosen to keep the meals around as a tool to support that foundational habit because I'm busy. I'm going to be on the go the rest of the evening. And so I just was in my car going, what do I have? Well, good thing I have one of these with me tonight. I keep a lot of things it's been really hot here today that don't warm up in my glove box, that stay fresh with me because I know that when it's time to eat, Lori, I love the way you put it. I just don't want to be unprepared. And in my old lifestyle, that meant going through drive-thrus. That meant not eating, which meant when I came home, I would eat anything that was in front of me that didn't support my goals. So RB Slim order goes through on the first, you guys, of every month. It's been that way for 6 years. It's just healthy snacks for my kids, me, and I love it. It's just like almost a gift to myself every month that I know that I am making that a priority in my health and that gift is going to show up at my doorstep every single month because health is important to me. So we get that question a lot. Do I eat this forever? Really, it's up to you, but hopefully you'll stick with the foundational habit of fueling your body. And if you see it like we do as a really supportive tool, I wasn't going to be one to be able to prepare 6 meals on my own. And so we've loved it from that perspective. And that is how we have maintained our health 6 years later. So with that, you guys, I love this topic. Brad, I think we could do 3 encores on it, but I know that there's other foundational habits of health we want to help you guys just really understand that what you're doing, no matter what phase of the program, you're actually learning this habit. You're actually starting to wrap your brain around what this lifestyle looks like. So I hope you really embrace that and are enjoying it each season and each phase, digging in with your health coach, exploring. I love Ashley's tip on new recipes and just having a lot of fun getting healthy together. So we'll give everybody a good night for the night and good seeing everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.